Hello, hello. How are you guys? I am in my living room. You can see my tree. It's dying. My puppy decided to bite the cord. So that was great. And if he barks too much, I'm going to have to go get him because he's just a royal pain in my you-know-what. Puppies are a lot of work. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks the IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting and truly rock it. So today we're going to talk about a topic that may, in your opinion, have to do with the IEP, and it may not. Like I said, if my puppy keeps crying, I'm gonna have to go get him. I thought I was done with babies, and obviously I'm not. So I'm gonna have to go get him in a minute. But yeah, so today we're gonna talk about, as you hop on, make sure you post a 1 below if you're a newbie and where you're from. I'm gonna go get my dog in a minute. And then post a 2 below as you guys are hopping on if you're an oldie but goodie. So tell me who you are, where you're coming from. Tell me a little bit about you. Do you have a son? Do you have a daughter? Do they have autism? What do they have? What's going on? How can I best help you? And I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to go get my puppy real quick, and then we're going to kind of get into today's content, okay? All right, buddy. Come on. Come on. All right. Okay. All right. All right, guys. So today we're actually going to talk about you, not so much the kids. So I want to focus more on today. So I'm going to let people keep popping on a little bit. I didn't know if this afternoon would be busy or if it would not be, but I have surgery tomorrow on my thumb. And so I just want to spend time with my family tonight and relax and that kind of thing. So I didn't want to not come live. I didn't want to not give you guys the content, but you might be disappointed. I don't know. But I think this is important. Okay. So for those of you hopping on, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks the IEP, and I help parents and caregivers gain the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO in their meeting. Okay. So if you don't know what that means, let me break it down for you. Okay. So I am an advocate. I'm a special education advocate, IEP advocate, whatever you want to call me. You can call me whatever you want. But what I am known for is going in, getting the job done, and getting right on out, right? So we go in, we go to the IEP meeting. The whole purpose is to get our children what's needed and appropriate, and for them to have a productive and good education and to have educational success, and for them to get the accommodations, modifications, and services that they need, right? So I'm reading a lot of you guys on the group that I have, which is amazing. This is the page. If you guys aren't on the group, you guys got to join the group. But you guys answer questions before you come on, and I know a lot of you here on the page is over on the group, and I'm hearing a whole lot. Make sure 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're oldie but goodie. I need to know where you're from, how old your kids are. Do they have autism? Do they have Down syndrome? Tell me what they have. Tell me about them. Friday is our post picture day on the group, so come on over there. We love the group. It's just a nice place to be. But so anyway, hi Kylie, how are you? Welcome. All right. So today we're going to focus. I apologize if you wanted some real solid IEP content, but this is going to help you, I promise, okay? So when we go into the IEP, post something below, even if you're on the replay, post something below of how you feel. You walk into the room, you're driving there, what are you thinking? Post what you think below. I'm serious. So post your 1, post your 2, but I want you to post that first thing that comes to your mind, okay? So if you're driving to the IEP and you feel anxiety, post anxiety. If you are driving to the IEP and you feel sick to your stomach, post sick to your stomach, okay? So I think it's going to be interesting as people post these things, because you're going to find if people do it, if you post how you truly feel, I'll go in and post when I'm done. If you post how you truly feel heading to that IEP, or even 24 hours before that IEP, you're going to find that most people are just like you. Okay. So again, on the page, you guys are answering my questions and you're saying, I just feel sick. I don't know what to do. I want to be among people that I can feel comfortable with because nobody else understands where I'm coming from. You know, my son just got suspended for 10 days. You know, I'm having behavior issues with my son. You know, I'm hearing all these different things. And who's going through that as well? You, right? So if you don't take care of you, you're not going to be able to take care of them. All right? And so when you're feeling all this anxiety, you're feeling all this overwhelm, you're feeling, you know, sick to your stomach, you're feeling, you know, like you're ready to pull your hair out, you know, it's one of those things where you have to learn to get over yourself. You just do. Okay. So no, I'm not going to talk about, okay, this is what you got to do in the IEP. Like I normally have solid content. What I'm going to talk about is kind of the opposite. That's actually maybe going to help you more. Okay. Because it's going to get your mindset in the right place. Because it's like with anything else, okay? Just take your job, take whatever it is you do that you know you're good at, take that and figure out what it is that's behind the scenes. You're usually not clustered, you know, you usually aren't stressed out, and you're able to do something in a productive way. And so the same things with the IEP. You guys are getting so overwhelmed, things aren't working out for you. I get it. Most of you are on this page for that sole purpose. I get it, okay? But take a step back. We're going to get you there. Take a step back and take a breather and do some of the homework, okay? Start answering questions. Download the free action sheet and see what it is that you need to start asking yourself. There's a couple questions on there. If you haven't downloaded the free checklist, that's a great place to start, you know? And these things are free. And all it does is get your brain going so that you can start thinking about the things that you're going to need to really address to get the things done that you need to get done, okay? So post a 1 below if you're new, where you're from. Post a 2 below if you're oldie but goodie. And I want you to come out of your comfort zone, if you will, and post below what it is you feel in one word. One word. I encourage you and challenge you to do this, okay? You got to step out of your comfort zone because think about it. In the IEP, what are you? You're nervous. You're scared. I mean, at my IEP, there's like 10 people around the table. And, you know, you have to learn to, I could care less, you know? And that's how you got to look at it. You got to look at it like, you don't need to worry about them. You're not there for them. You're there for your child. And so if you are taking care of all these steps along the way, you're going to knock it out of the park. It's going to happen. There's always a rinse and repeat. So there's not a one-stop shop. That's not how IEPs work, okay? Now, there's a time constraint to IEPs. You know, people have asked, I've seen some posts, you know, how long is your IEP typically? Mine's usually anywhere from 3 to 4 hours. You know, last Thursday it was a little longer, it was 6 hours. It's crazy. But, you know, they should range in the average 2-hour zone maybe. But it really just depends on what you're covering in the IEP. So we're talking about you today for people who are hopping on. We're talking about you and your feelings and what it is that you have going on inside when you go and head over to that IEP or the days before, 2 days before, 1 day before, etc. And then we're also talking about that meeting, right in that place, that feeling again. You know, you're sitting around the table. You know, I've talked to some people. I had a consultation yesterday, and all my consultations are private, so you're not going to know anything other than, let me tell you what was key. When you have this confidence about you, you know, I was looking at this person, beautiful, confident, amazing. But just like me, you know, when you first go into that IEP, you just kind of freeze, you know, like everything that you talk to yourself about in the car, that you were going to say, you had it down, you were ready to go. You talk to yourself in the mirror. Do you guys do that? I do that. So like if I am really trying to practice about what I have to say and it's really important, I will talk to myself in the mirror and I will like make sure that I have my head in the right place. But how many times have we done that? I know I'm not the only one who does that. So how many times have we done that? And then we get to where we need to say what we have to say and nothing comes out like it did, how amazing it was when we talked in the mirror, right? So you have to like look at how it is when you talk to yourself in the mirror. You felt confident. Why? Because it was just you in the mirror. feel that way in your IEP meeting. Figure out what it is that you're feeling. And if you post how you feel, that's you coming out of your comfort zone. All right. I encourage people to come out of their comfort zone. Unfortunately, my psycho self is a health coach as well, and I help people get their mindset together. But on the other end, you guys have to get your mindsets together. If you don't get your mindsets together, you're not going to have everything in place for your child. Okay. It's kind of like, you know, when you're stressed out. All right. And they want your attention and they're like, mom, 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 mom. And you're just like, stop. Right. We don't have the patience because we're so overwhelmed with what's going on in our life or what happened 5 minutes before. Okay. What you really got to focus on is the here and now, and you have to put everything else aside. So I'm going to tell you, because I know a lot of you have said, oh my gosh, my IEP is coming. What do I do? You're getting nervous. And the number one thing you have to do is know the process. All right. So you guys are going into IEP meetings blindsided, and you have to get to know the process. And so getting to know the process takes work. I tell people all the time when I work with them, I can give you the tools, I can be your best cheerleader, and I can tell you exactly what to do step by step. But guess who's got to do the work? You, right? So people come to me when they need someone to kick them in the butt and say, all right, let's get this done, right? So what I'm trying to do to you right now is kick you in the butt and tell you, don't get nervous, okay? Don't get nervous. These people don't mean anything to you, okay? And I don't mean it on a bad note, like people don't mean anything. What I mean it by is look at it like you're there to talk about your child. You're not there to be friends, okay? You're there to be a team, but you're not there to hang out, you know? And so a lot of times when you go into an IEP meeting, you'll find like they'll start saying things like, oh my gosh, Johnny's been so amazing. He's been so good. We haven't had any problems with him lately. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. He's doing his work. They probably even brought you some work. They brought you work and they're showing you all his amazing work, but yet you know there's this history of like, well, why are you telling me all these positive things now? But I haven't heard it this whole time. But now that I'm here in this meeting, all of a sudden things have changed. Have you ever felt like that? Or have you felt like in a meeting where everything's going good, you feel like it's going good, they're telling you everything that you want to hear, you're feeling like it's being productive, that you're doing a good job, and that you're focused on what you want done. Maybe you've written it down and have bullet points for yourself, and you're feeling really confident. All right, they're telling you positive things. They're telling you, you know, that they're going to help you get the accommodations or whatever you're asking for. And then all of a sudden you leave and nothing happens that you thought was going to happen. Has anybody else been in that situation? I'm sure you have. There's so many situations I could bring up. Okay, so Kylie says, I have a 3-year-old with autism. And then Brandy says, I'm from Michigan. Awesome. Have been with you since October. Awesome. I have to share our success story on your page. Yes, please do. Absolutely. I love success stories. I love them. But you just want to become more confident in that meeting, okay? And I don't really want to say fake it till you make it. It's kind of stupid. I don't know. Like some people believe in that. I don't really know how. You can't really do that with the IEP. You know, it's kind of like a different ball game. It's one of those things where you just have to be confident. You got to know what you're doing. You got to be confident. You got to be okay with if it doesn't work out, you get in your car, you write the email, you request the next IEP that day. So you literally leave. That's what I would do. I would leave my IEP. I'd go get in my car. I'd get my phone. I'd email and request another IEP. I'd go back to the next IEP. I'd get in my car. I'd email and request another IEP. I don't know if they just got sick of seeing my face or what, but no, you just have to keep fighting. And why I'm telling you that is these are kind of tips that I don't normally talk about. Normally I talk and talk and talk, whether it be, you know, on one area of content. And I know that you guys know that about me. So I'm kind of like giving you a generic, but listen to me because it's part of it too. It is. And what's part of it that's so important is the feeling that you feel when you go to that meeting is huge. You feeling confident, you feeling like you did your homework and you have your stuff together, that is important. Knowing how to read your old IEP in detail, things that may eat at your gut, start looking into those things. Start digging deep of, why am I feeling like that? Why do I feel like when I got that IEP and I signed it that something's not right? Let me tell you some stories. So, because I don't want this page to just be about content. I know you guys want that. I'm going to deliver it, but I'm also going to give you tidbits along the way, which I think is key. Have you ever wanted something so bad, all right? And because it was almost like you wanted it so bad that you kind of lost what you had to do to go get it, you lost all those steps that gradually gets you there, okay? Because you got so excited, kind of like a kid, and they're like, jump full force, and then you kind of got there way ahead of, and then there's all this space and you don't know what to do with the space. You know what I mean? So like the IEP is huge like that. The IEP is not something that you can in any way literally go from beginning to middle or beginning to end and be successful. So I talked about this a lot on Thursday, and on Monday when I did my hour and a half tip, what was I thinking? That was only supposed to be 10 minutes. You want to focus more on going back to the basics. And I'm going to say that a lot lately because it's true. Okay. So when you go back to the basics, go back to studying your child. What do you observe? What do you see in different settings? Are they doing their homework? Are they of the age to do homework? If they're younger, are they playing well? Do they have good speech? Are they talking? Are they on point with talking? Do they need speech therapy? Start asking yourself all these questions and write them down, okay? Does anybody know why I ask you to ask so many questions? And not only do I ask you to ask so many questions, but I ask you to ask a question when somebody asks you a question. Why do I tell you to do that? Anybody? Anybody want to tell me? Why do I ask you so many questions? And why do I tell you to ask yourself so many questions? That's question 2. Question 3 is, have you noticed that I also tell you when somebody asks you a question to answer their question with a question? Why do I do that? Anybody? Make sure if you're coming on the replay, post a 1 below if you're new. Tell me where you are, where you're from, who you are, what you're about. Post stuff like that. Post about your children, that sort of thing. People love to hear about your kids. We actually want to know. And the other thing is I want you to post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Over on the group, we're going to be doing some fun things next week. I have surgery tomorrow, but I'm hoping that I'm kind of bounce back, even though I won't be able to use my right arm. And I'm going to do some giveaways, okay, of some really cool stuff. So, and that's going to go to people who are active within the page. People are completely active over on the group. So if you want to be active, go to the group because crazy. All right. We love each other. We just have a good time. But what I want you to do is, post a 1 below of who you are. If you're new, tell us about yourself. And then, go over to the group. It's more personable, over there. But I really love getting to know you guys. Like some of the people on my group that hop on my page, I feel like I actually am really getting to know them. Like some of them have my cell phone number now, So like it's cool, So it's a little bit different than other groups, Like think about it. I think I'm a member of 150 groups and I maybe visit 5, So like it's important to become engaged in a community that you feel comfortable. I know for myself, Brandy, I got a question for you. Is it snowing up there? My stepson's up there in college, University of Michigan. So he sends us all these crazy pictures, and he went to see that thing in the sky, that star thing. Do you know what? I don't remember what it was called. But it was really cool. He sent us a bunch of pictures, and it was this cool star thing in the sky, and it was gorgeous. It's gorgeous. All right. So again, 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're oldie but goodie. And what we're talking about today is getting into your headspace. Okay, that would be a good topic for it, I guess, is really getting into your headspace, figuring out what it is that's triggering you. We think about it with our kids, right? Think about it for you. What's triggering you? What's getting you so emotionally exhausted with this process? Figure out what that is. It could be you're not understanding the process. It could be you don't really know how to read an IEP. It could be, and that does not make you dumb in any way, okay? I want to say it took me 9 years to nail the reading of an IEP, of how to find, I was working with someone yesterday, and I was able to find those red flags really quick, and it's something that sometimes we can't do ourselves, So that's a hard one. So focus on that. She said it's a little bit warm today. Oh, that's good. 6 inches. Yuck. It's cold here now. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to focus on your mindset. Okay. If you want to go out there, okay, I have Kylie. She said she feels lots of anxiety. Okay. Who doesn't? I mean, I totally am with you, Kylie, because I get so much anxiety before my IEP, and I shouldn't anymore, but I do. It's almost like an automatic. It's like turn on the car, it just works. Same thing. I got an IEP. I just get a little bit nervous. My heart beats faster. My blood pressure goes up. I get really nervous. I think it's because of everything that I've been through. I told you guys, that I'm going to be telling my story soon. It'll probably be right after the holidays. People have asked, hey, what's your story? You keep saying that you've been through hell and back. And obviously, I've shown people my child's IEP. It's pretty darn good. And I do my best at nailing the IEP. I think I have a pretty good track record. But it's not about that. It's about the long term. And it's about, even though you're going to go gung-ho and get this done, and we're going to fix your mindset, we're going to fix your attitude, we're going to fix I don't want to hear anymore anybody who says, I'm exhausted, I can't do this anymore. I just don't have it in me anymore. Yes, you do. And you're going to do it because it's for your kids, right? So don't say anymore, I can't do it, I'm exhausted, I don't even know what to do anymore with this IEP thing. I'm going to hope it works out, whatever, I don't want you to do that. You don't have to do that. I can't tell you how many things are going wrong in our school systems today. It's crazy, crazy. And I hear the heartache, especially on my group, of pain, of why is this happening? My son just got suspended for 10 days, then we're talking about how fate has to kick in after 10 days, if it's more than 10 days. So a child can be, that's right, Kylie, you never give up, you just keep at it, and you keep at it, and you keep at it. The only way to fail is to quit. That's it. All right. You keep on pursuing it, and you just keep going, and you will nail it. Okay. And if you have a good mindset, okay, you have to have a good attitude and an open mind to have that ability to be able to see more. And if you don't see more with what's going on with your children, which you guys know, you probably know right now, most people who watch me know I'm the hunt and gather girl. That's how it is. You have to hunt and gather. You wanna nail the IEP, you gotta learn to hunt and gather really, really, really well. Like a squirrel. I mean, you have to learn. Would it be a squirrel or I don't know what animal it would be, but you have to, yeah, like the squirrels, they go get those little acorns and then they put them into the ground and then they go get more and they put more into the ground, right? They keep at it. They keep at it and they got to find those darn acorns. So you got to dig deep and you got to keep at it. It's crazy and it sounds stupid sometimes. And sometimes people, it goes over their head as far as like, okay, analogies or whatever. But if you really just look at the whole picture, what I'm saying is if you have a clogged head, you're not going to see the obvious. If you have a clogged mind and you have a closed mind, you're not going to see the errors that could be happening that you would see if you had a clearer head. That's what I'm saying, straight up truth, okay? So I'm trying to go about it just being funny or talking about a squirrel or, really making light of it. But in all realness, if you have this clogged brain, clogged head, closed mind, this is stressful. I can't do it anymore. This is just not working. They're not working with me. They don't like me. They said they can't do it. It's against their policy. I don't know what else to do. They told me this. Then you're not going to get anywhere. You have to. Okay. So I don't know about you guys. I'd love to hear your story. So post it or come over to the group and tell me. When my daughter first was diagnosed with autism, I knew something was wrong in the beginning. Okay. I knew something was up. I knew something was not right from 3 months. She had viral meningitis and things just kind of got not so great. And she was nonverbal for a long time. And I just remember that sick feeling that I had of like, why is this happening to me? What the heck am I going to do? I mean, 14 years ago, autism was 1 in 150. It's 1 in 50 now. I mean, it's crazy how much it's changed, And I just remember going through all those emotional feelings of, why me? Why is this happening? I can't believe this. What's it going to be like? Is she going to grow up? Is she going to get married? Is she going to move out of my house? Am I going to get rid of her? Is she always going to live with me? I went through all these questions that are normal for anybody to feel of what's going to happen. And I think they're probably getting ready to come in, her and her attendant. So that's okay. It's fine. But I remember feeling all these things and these emotions and not knowing what to do about it, not knowing how to handle those things. And so what I did was I dove in. Come on in. What I did is I dug deep as to what I needed to do, okay? So let me get the door real quick. Hang on. All right. So Skylar's home early. Today is one of those days where they had a half day. So look, this is Rocco. Say hi, Rocco. He is my rotten baby. Rotten baby. Okay. He gets into everything. He chewed up my Apple charger. $99. Yeah. What else? He killed my tree. You see my tree? Just blinking. That's what he did. So if he wasn't this cute, yeah. Right? Can you say hi to everybody? Say hi. So yeah, that's why I do my lives at night, because then it's quieter. So anyway, I just want you guys to gain the confidence that you need so that we can get you there. Does that make sense? So for me to really help, I have to get people's minds in the right place. Because if you can't pick up an IEP, all right, and understand it in depth, if I said, okay, what's this? What's this? What's this? I want you to be able to name it, okay? When you're so worked up after an IEP meeting, and I hope you've learned by now, don't ever sign an IEP in an IEP meeting, Okay? Not ever. Not ever. Ever, ever, ever. That's the biggest no in the whole wide world. Don't ever sign an IEP in the IEP meeting. Don't ever be intimidated. Don't ever let them say, oh, well, you got to sign it now because we got to get it in. Or that's no, 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 no. Okay? That's actually bullying and intimidation if they do that. So you take that IEP home and you sit on that thing. I don't care if you sit on it for 30 days. Don't let them tell you that, oh, you only have this amount of time. You only have this amount of time. You only got 3 days. You only got 5 days. You only got 2 weeks. You only got 10 days. Nope. You don't ever have to sign the damn thing at all, ever. Okay? So you don't sign that thing until you understand it in full. Okay? And so the reason I'm talking about up here is because you can't read that thing, as confusing, as crazy as it is. Understand it in depth to the T, catch all those red flags, all right, with a closed mind and with a clogged head. You're not going to do it. Think about, here's a mistake I made a lot. Top mistakes, right? You want to know the top 3? No, just a mistake is you do not want to ever do anything right after or right before an IEP. Right before, your mind's done. But right after, your mind's fried. Have you ever felt like that? I know, even for me, after an IEP, after an IEP, my brain's dead. It's gone. No more working for the day. It's done. So I always do my IEPs in the late afternoon because then I at least can justify not doing anything else the rest of the day because it's that bad, you know, like my brain's done. I can't do anything more. I can have dinner. I could sit down, watch some TV. Last week I got on live with y'all, but my brain's fried after an IEP. It just is done. So if you guys feel that way, then I get it because I totally feel that way. And so I guess what I'm saying is I'm with you guys too. I may have a great IEP, okay? And I may have mastered the process and created a system that works for myself and my clients. But that doesn't mean that I don't get nervous. That doesn't mean that I don't have those same feelings. And that sure as heck doesn't mean that I don't understand because I'm in a different place. The whole purpose of me doing what I do and deciding to come live and that sort of thing without just doing it privately, within my area is because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I wanted to do something that was out of my comfort zone, that was helping other people, do something that was near and dear to my heart because of the emotional turmoil that I had been through, okay? And the fact that I didn't want other people to have to go through that if I could prevent it in any type of way. So that's why I do what I do, because I don't know your stories. I only know mine, okay? Or I know my client's story, But I know how horrible my situation was. And I know how long it's taken me to get where I am today. And that's the other thing that I wanted to stop is I don't want other parents to, number one, go through, honestly, hell like I did and feeling like a failure and feeling like you're failing your children and feeling like you're not doing anything right and feeling like you're doing all this darn research and what's it doing? It did nothing for me. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Am I looking something up wrong? I'm looking at everything right. I'm looking at the parent page. I'm looking at understood page. I'm looking at all these pages. They have all this awesome stuff. They tell me everything about everything. Why am I not going into the IEP and it working? Aren't I supposed to read it and it just happened? That doesn't happen to y'all either. But hopefully that helps you understand, that you have to get yourself in a space where you're open to realize that you have to do the work. And sure, you can be guided. Dogs eat my food. You can be guided and loved on, and I can be your best cheerleader, and we can get you going. But the process is all about you. and where you are in the game, and where you're wanting to be. That's the key, is where do you want to be? Where is it you see your children? Where is it that you envision being, So just focus on those things. And, I know today wasn't a huge content, but I also don't want everything to be so serious all the time. The holidays are coming, guys. So I may pop on sometime next week, depending on, how I'm feeling tomorrow. After surgery, I might pop onto my group, let them know how I'm doing. But I'm going to pop on here and there next week and do some, I'm going to do some giveaways and some cool things for you. And I'm also going to pick 3 people that are going to become a team. 3 people, okay? I'll explain how I'm going to do this later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 3 people, all right? And they're going to be random. So I'm going to come live probably Monday after I'm feeling a little bit better, and I'm going to get names sent to me. Okay, you're going to send me your name probably like through my page messenger or something. I'm going to figure out a way, and I just need your first name. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to print it out, and then I'm going to pick 3 names, and I am going to hardcore work with them through the process as a success. Okay, to figure out, to show them what it is my system does. Okay, and it'll be kind of a Merry Christmas, right? But I think that will be exciting. I'm excited about it. I love helping you guys, and I'm excited about getting the new year over. Anybody doing anything fun for New Year's? I'm thinking about it, but normally we just stay here and watch that stupid ball, but I don't want to do that this year. So, like, I'm right outside DC, so we were thinking about going to DC. I don't know. Tell me about you guys. Hi, Yanelle. Is it Yanelli? That's pretty. All right, first time watching, and totally agree with you, the anxiety when there's something that's not okay with your child, but yeah. It's still hard to hear it's hard to hear the diagnosis. I mean, I'm totally fine with it now, but I still, she's 14, and, I talk to her about it now, but like, I still well, how's she going to be, when she's an adult and that sort of thing. I mean, she's pretty self-sufficient, but would I leave her by herself at the house? Probably not. Or if I did, it wouldn't be more than 10 minutes, but, yeah. So you wonder about those things and you try to figure out, where they're going to be or whatever. But I've also realized that I think about it. In all honesty, I've kind of gotten the mentality that she's just going to be my buddy for life. And, you have to be okay with that and be fine with that. She's actually a super cool kid, thank God, and she's fun and she's seriously funny. And she does things that most people wouldn't do, but they're funny, and then you're just like, you can't say anything because it was funny, like yesterday, she knows she cannot take her iPad to school. Okay, I think you guys saw my post maybe. So she knows she can't take her iPad to school. That's a no-no. You're grounded from your iPad for 5 days if you take it to school. Not only does she take it to school yesterday, but she calls me on FaceTime on it, telling on herself. And she was just like, hey, Mom, how are you? No care in the world. Could care less. She was, she didn't get grounded. I didn't ground her. But, that's the things that they do. Now, me, I would not have called my mom if I took my phone to school. You know what I mean? So, they do things that are cool, that she's honest, she's fun, she's just a good kid. So I'm sure all of your kids are like that too. And even those who are going through behavior issues, don't get down on yourself, okay? There's so many ways to address that, and I'm sure you're going about those ways, but sometimes it's just trial and error, And for those of us who don't have kids who have serious behavior issues, we got other stuff going on, you know? So just be open and flexible and keep going and being the amazing moms and dads that you are. And I'm going to be taking next week off, but I will come live and say hey and maybe give you a tip or two, something like that. And then I'm officially starting back with the tip of the week on December 30th. And then I'm officially starting back with the 31st. I'm going to skip the question and answer on the group, but then I'm going to come back officially on January 2nd. Okay, and then we're going to hit it hard. It's going to be Monday tip of the week, which is about 10 minutes. Tuesday on the group question and answer for 30 minutes. And then over here, typically 30 to 45 minutes of solid content. But the solid content is not always going to be, okay, this is what a PWN is. This is how it works. This is what it means. This is basically a prior written notice. I'll just tell you right now. Prior written notice, just take the word prior out of it. And that's what it means. And all it is a piece of paper saying, yes, we'll do this, or no, we're not going to do this, and this is why. You know? So people get kind of like flustered with a prior written notice, but don't. But you always want to check your prior written notice before signing it. Just a tip. Maybe I'll talk about that on Monday too. The prior written notice is very important. Okay? So your important paperwork, okay, if you want to write something down, is your IEP. Obviously, that's a federal document, okay? Then you have your FBA that's important, which is basically finding the behavior. Why is this happening? Why is this behavior occurring? What's happening before? What's happening in the middle? What's happening after? What's getting it going? Are other behaviors within that behavior? So FBA is just finding out. It's investigating the behavior of why it's happening, what's causing it, etc. Then you got your BAP. That's another important paper, okay? And that is basically should come after the FBA. If someone ever puts a BIP in place without doing an FBA, that's backwards. Start over, okay? So always do it in the right way, okay? It's kind of like you can't go straight to an IEP requesting this, and this without an evaluation. You can't go right out the gate, get an evaluation, and bam, you got a one-on-one. It doesn't work like that unless your child's seriously severe and there's no other option. But believe me, they're going to fight you on it, especially if it's going to come right out of the gate. So you want to make sure that you do things in the proper order, and things will come a lot faster than if you work ahead of the game and then have to backtrack. Okay? So that's kind of how the IEP works. All right? You got your IEP, you got your prior written notice. So those come together typically, okay? Or one will come after the other, but a prior written notice will always come to you and should always come to you definitely after an IEP meeting or after an evaluation and you're requesting something, after each meeting, and you should also get your procedural safeguards at the same time. And then you also have your FBA, that's another important document. And then you have your BIP, which is the plan of action, okay? So you take the FBA is your why, what's happening, what's going on, what did this occur from, what's it occurring because, et cetera, all those questions. And then the behavior plan is the plan of action to positively work and address the behavior in a positive manner with different tactics and strategies and different things, hopefully in reference to ABA. A behaviorist is the one who should do an FBA. I would not have anybody else do one, okay? So if you're going to have somebody do an FBA and it's going to get done right, you really want a behaviorist to do it. So a BCBA preferably. And that's why the school systems will sometimes fight you on an FBA. They technically cannot if your child is having behaviors, but they will because they actually have to pay somebody on the outside to do the evaluation. Because my school system does, but it took them a long time. And so a lot of school systems are still catching up in reference to providing ABA therapy or providing it after school or providing just a behaviorist within the school. And then if you only have one behaviorist within your school system, that's even going to be a struggle because think about it. You know, you have all these kids and then you have one BCBA, they're only one person, you know? So it becomes a real struggle. But here's the thing, and here's the kicker, is it doesn't matter. And I'm going to leave you with this, okay? So ponder on it. Post your questions later. If you're coming on now, watching the replay, welcome. We talked about mindset and getting your head in the game. And post a 1 below if you're new. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. But here's what I'm going to leave you with, okay? What's really important is understanding the process. What's really important is understanding the strategies that are put in place. But what is key in this whole process that I like to teach, it's just my way, because if you don't understand what's going on over here, you're not going to be able to take care of what's over here, okay? Especially if over here affects here, all right? So what I mean by that is whether you like your team or not, who cares? I'm sure you don't care, they don't care, who cares? But the point is you don't want them to lead you down the wrong track. You need to know your stuff so that when things come out of people's mouths, you're not quick to believe. You're not quick to say, oh, okay, thank you, I appreciate that, and it totally being bogus. What you want to also know is if something's coming out of somebody's mouth, is it fact? Do they know the law? Are they familiar with law? Do you know most principals are not familiar with special education law at all? They may know a little bit here and there and learned along the way, but even special educators, special education teachers, many of them, not all of them, many of them have no idea what special education law is and what it means, how to implement it. On my group, I have so many teachers that have reached out to me. I'm a teacher, so, you know, I love it. And so we've actually had conversations and, you know, it's not something they're taught in school. My daughter's a teacher. She's not taught, here's special education law. You know what I mean? Teachers aren't taught that. And then teachers are actually given a disservice because teachers, general education teachers, are blamed. And I'm talking about your evil teachers. I'm talking about just a good teacher that can't handle a behaviored child or an autistic child or a child with special needs, plus take care of 30 other kids. That's why the school systems have to step into play and give the proper accommodations, modifications, and services to that child. So the teacher's not saying, okay, hold on, class, let me deal with this. Hold on, class, let me deal with this. Because guess who's suffering? Your child and others. And the teacher. The teacher can't teach, the other kids can't learn, and your kid can't learn. So the school systems are causing more problems for themselves by not assisting our children and giving them what's needed and appropriate and the proper modifications, services, and accommodations. Because had they done that, a lot of teachers that I know would be a lot less stressed out. And they'd be able to teach their class, including your child, and do it in a productive and efficient manner versus having to stop every 5 seconds because there's a kid throwing a pencil or there's a kid acting out or there's a kid that has a sensory overload and he needs to be taken out of class because he needs to calm down. Who does that? A one-on-one. That's their job. The teacher's job is to teach and to educate. So get your headset in the right mind there too, because you got to remember special education is different than general ed. The general education teacher by law has to have your child in her class, but it is not her job to then accommodate your child by stopping her class every 5 seconds, because if my daughter was in a regular class, she would drive everybody crazy. So she has to have a one-on-one. She has to. And it's not that she'd drive anybody crazy because she's bad. She would drive people crazy because she would like talk, or she would, you know, she'd probably like hit the table, or she has to be moving, you know? So that is a one-on-one's job. So think about those things. Those are things to think about. That's part of what I ask you guys to do. Study your child. Study what they're doing. Study how they're acting at school. Go see them in school. See what they're doing. Okay? So with what I'm going to leave you, I still haven't gotten there yet. is make sure that you know your stuff before you ever take what is fed to you in an IEP meeting. Okay? Take it, but make sure you have your phone on record. Record. I can't tell you how important that is. Because guess what? When you're crazy and you're leaving and you're like, what the hell just happened? Or maybe you feel good or whatever. And then 3 weeks down the road, they're not implementing anything. And then you pick up that phone and you're like, oh, I recorded. Oh, this is awesome. And so you're able to literally listen to that recording. I tell people, listen to your recording by minute. All right. And so every minute you're writing down a couple notes. All right. Because you can remember by the minute. As adults, we can. After, believe it or not, adults, after 2 or 3 minutes after listening to a recording, you're not going to remember what happened the first minute. Or you'll remember like a portion. It's kind of an interesting part of how our brains work, but you'll only remember like a portion versus the intricate details that you need within an IEP. So remember that. What's another thing I wanted to tell you? Make sure that you are clear with, I've talked to a couple people this week in a lot of my calls. I've done a lot of planning sessions this week, and I've double booked myself. And because I'm off tomorrow with surgery, so I had to, I tried to fit everybody in. But so I was working with this lady. She cracked me up. So she really didn't know how, and she told me I could talk about this. She said she had no idea how to read anything. She's like, she just threw it up when I was watching it because I looked at her through Zoom and we were talking and having our meeting, and she like threw all her papers up, and I had printed her papers out and I had them with me, and we're going over the papers and she's throwing her papers up and she's like, this is how I read them because I just don't understand. And it was kind of funny because she wasn't playing. Like I thought she was playing at first, I thought she's just joking, but she wasn't. Like she was serious. She was like, no, I'm serious. Like I don't know how to read this at all, And so we took the 2 hours and we got through her IEP, and her reaction afterward was priceless. Like she's like, I had no idea. And she had signed an IEP that she thought something was in there, and it wasn't. We didn't find it. And so I'm finding this a lot. So if you have to go home and think and relax and have a glass of wine, whatever you do, and not sign that IEP for 2 weeks, think about how less that's going to hurt your child than if you signed it right away because you're stressed and you think you need to sign it right away, and it has stuff in there that you didn't catch. Because when our minds are clogged, we don't see those intricate details. We don't see the tiny things. And I'll tell you something else. And it's something to really remember, okay? So this is really something to remember, all right? Did you know only 3 to 6 words, not sentences, words, could throw your whole IEP off completely? 3 or 6 words, depending on what they are. And it's important to know that when you sign your IEP, I'll just give you an example. So if you're going, and I'm going to jump off because I've been on for a while now, but I want to tell you something, okay? If, say you're all excited, the IEP looks great, because a lot of us, this is what I used to do, a lot of us will get our IEP and we just flip to the service page. Okay, did my child get a one-on-one? Okay, how many days did she get, speech? How many days did she get dance? How many days did she get, reading, all the services that we ask for, right? All the accommodations and stuff. There's like 1 or 2 pages that just do that, okay? On most IEPs, it's on 1 to 2 pages. And I've found that a lot of people just look at those 2 pages because they think all the goals are what they should be. And did you know what you really should be reading is closer to that first page? Because guess what's at that first page area? Your child's present level of performance. What if they bullshitted you on that? What if they put lies? What if that's totally, have you ever, I know I have you ever read your child's present levels of performance and you're like, my kid can't do that? Or have you said, what? He can totally do that. Have you ever done that? It's true. And that's basically them saying, oh, this is where her child is. Because here's the thing with present levels of performance. If they put them on a lower level, then the goals look different. If they put them on a higher level, then the goals look different, depending on where the goals are. So strategically, figure it out, right? You know what I'm saying? Happens all the time. All the time. Or yeah, we're gonna give you a one-on-one. All right. And this is what I found yesterday. I found this for a lady that I love and adore. Can't wait to hang out with her. So basically, she thought her child was going to get a one-on-one. They agreed. Her child was going to get a one-on-one for occupational therapy. And so she assumed that her child was going to get occupational therapy, with an occupational therapist. That's what they talked about in their meeting. And guess what? Guess what I found? Guess what I found? So I'm going through it and I'm reading it. And I said, hey, did you know that it actually says one-on-one or group? Yeah, that's what it said, y'all. Think about it. You're in a meeting. Yeah, we're going to give your child occupational therapy. Not a problem. 1 time a week, 30 minutes, or 5 times a week, 30 minutes. So you're thinking your child's going to get occupational therapy, which is an amazing therapy, by the way. And a lot of children with special needs need occupational therapy. Even if you don't think they do, because it's such an amazing therapy and it can help anybody. I mean, after I have my thumb surgery tomorrow, I have to go to occupational therapy 1 time a week, 1 or 2 times a week for like 5 weeks or something. That's what occupational therapy does. They do things to help you gain, tone. It's not just physical therapy that does that. And did you know physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy, if you put them together and they actually all go in the same room, you can actually double up and triple up your therapies. And that actually is done and put into IEPs. Did you know that? Did you know that speech and OT go hand in hand together a lot, and the therapies when doubled? So if you get an hour, you can put the hour together. You have the occupational therapist there, you have the speech therapist there, and they work together. And that is sometimes more productive for your child. Super cool. So, all right, I'm going to leave y'all with that. I gave you a lot of tips and tricks, but the main thing really today was get your head clear. Really, get it clear. Have a good holiday. Have a great Christmas. Give your kids lots of hugs and kisses. Post pictures. That's mainly on the group, but go over to the group and post pictures and get to know people. People are awesome. And people have gotten to really know each other, and we are cheerleaders to each other, oh, I'm so glad your IEP went good, or, don't worry about it. We'll help you when you get back, because our IEP was the other day. And so it's nice. So I like to tell my page about my group, because I think all of us, especially women, we like that more private feeling, and it's just nice to have. So you're able to shoot each other questions, and I have to shut my phone off sometimes because it's going off so much. Seriously, because people are they're just posting all the time and responding to each other, and I do different things on the group. Like Fridays is poster child day, and it could be a fun thing, or it could be post something they did do that was great. It's funny but not so great, and so that's just fun, we're all on here to be support to each other. I think that's super important. And that's kind of where my head is to stay super focused. And I'm going to talk about this for just a second. I'm so excited for the new year because I'm ready for a refresh. I'm going to think about it as my refresh button of I can't wait to really rock this year. I'll show you my list. So I have a list, and you know, I told my husband, who's calling me, which he's gonna have to hold on. And I told him, I said, I want to help this many people each month with their IEP, you know, and like come away from either our call or physically going with them, because people think, oh, you're in Virginia, you can't come to New York. Yeah, I can come to New York. I can do that. I do it a lot. I actually I do it a lot. And I love going to Florida because it's warmer. But yeah, so yes, as an advocate, you have advocates, and just to let you know too, you know, you have advocates within your state, you know, which is great. But the only thing that I tell you is make sure they know their stuff. Just please make sure they know their stuff. That's all I ask. I don't know anything about other advocates. I know I'm friends with some, you know, that are private advocates, but you know. So, all right, guys, jump off here. I will see you guys later. I'll hop on, you know, here and there through the weekend. I'll let you know how I'm doing. Just get your head out of the clouds and focus on creating a plan of action. And if you need help, set up a free discovery call with me. We'll chit chat for a couple minutes and we'll figure out kind of where you need to head at least, you know. So have a good night, okay? Have a great day tomorrow on Saturday or Friday, and I'll still post my stuff, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys for being on, and thank you for being patient, and thank you for being cool that it wasn't solid content today, that we kind of hit a lot of good ideas and things to do and getting our head in the game and really taking care of us as well so that we can take care of others. That's important. If you can't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to do everything you need to do for others, okay? So I will talk to you guys later. Have a great night. Bye.